welcome to our August virtual So Fun Club. I want to take a moment and welcome you all for joining us here. We've got a very special guest tonight. We have Swan Amity that's going to join us in just a little bit. But before we get to Swan Amity and our trunk show, I want to go over a few things. As usual, we always love that our customers like, comment, and share these videos with your friends and family. And when you do that, you will be entered into a drawing. And also at the end of the video, we are going to have our wonderful show and tell. So at the end of the video, go ahead and you're going to want to post videos of little clips of your pictures of anything that you've made. It could be a quilt, it could be something in the hoop with your embroidery machine. We want to see what you're working on. And I get so excited to see all the talent that we have out there in our Moors community. So when you do that, we will have a drawing at the end of the month. And on that, you will be able to potentially be a winner of 2 fabulous prizes. Now, what we have for you this month, I've got some wonderful floral pins, and then I have some patterns that I love, and we all can use patterns. This one is so perfect. It says there's no such thing as too much fabric, and it's got a really cute little quilted area with someone buying fabric. So that's going to be definitely much loved. And then we have 5 different patterns that we have from Purple Pineapple. So in total, in this wonderful little package here, well over $30, we've got pins and we've got inspiration to keep you busy for many, many months. So I hope that you are our winner. But in order to do that, you need to remember to like, comment, or share, and also post pictures of your show and tell so that we can all be inspired by everything that you're making out there. So it is my privilege to welcome Swan Sheridan from Swan Amity Studios. And welcome, Swan. It is so good to see you again. I know I was first exposed to your wonderful patterns when I was just an employee at Moore's, and I fell in love with your owls, and they have absolutely been a favorite of mine ever since. So it may be an oldie to you, but they're still very dear to my heart. So I want to welcome you on behalf of August Virtual So Fun Club.
Well, that's fantastic. And it's fun that you love the owls. I still go to shows, and even though they are kind of older patterns, everybody still calls me the owl lady, which my mom thinks is hilarious.
Yeah,
when your name's Swan,
funny.
you know.
Well, they are just so special and unique. And one of my favorite things are the eyes. Your owls are very expressionist. So I love them. Yep. So
Well, thank you
once
so
again,
much.
yeah. Well, we've had you before on our So Fun Clubs, and now with this whole new format, it's nice to have a face with a name with your patterns. And tell me a little bit how you got started with Swan Amity Studios.
Oh, it's actually a funny story, Michelle. I used to work for a quilt shop that was here in Tucson, Bella Quilt Works, and that's something that's gone by the wayside. But I put one of my quilts in a show that year, and when I came back to work the next Monday, my boss said, "So we're taking orders for your cute little pattern that won an award." And I said, "Oh, I don't write quilt patterns." And she said, "Honey, now you do."
And the rest is history, so to speak. Yeah.
That's how it
Well,
goes.
which pattern was it? Is it one that's still in your line or a different pattern altogether?
It is, we still keep it around because it's taken on so many different little iterations, but we call it daisy chain. And every once in a while, it still comes up as the most popular thing.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, that just goes to show the life that your products have, and even my love of your owls. Every time I see them, you can make them again with different fabrics, and they're just as fabulous. So, such cute products. So, well, with all of our So Fun clubs, we want everyone to know that we have secured special pricing with Swan. And I have done a bunch of research and I have looked high and low on the internet to make sure that we have the best pricing. So I want everyone to be rest assured that everything that Swan is going to show us tonight, we have the best prices that we can offer our So Fun Club customers. And with this being virtual, you can take advantage of that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to let Swan take over and she's going to show us her amazing product line.
Thanks, Michelle. I am going to take a moment and bring up a shared screen for us because we're going to be able to look at something a little bit more closely today and see all of the details that we would like to see for this particular project. Um, Now we're going to be looking at some of my older things, but we're also going to be taking a peek at some newer things as well. And I hope that you enjoy. We're going to start off with our super cute little branch buddies today. Michelle mentioned that she loves those owls, and so do I. They are still some of my absolute favorites. What I love about Branch Buddies is that we have this great opportunity to play with just a couple of owls on a smaller project. So this is a smaller wall hanging, about 19 by 26 inches, and just a great way to get out there and do something a little different with some adorable little sleepers. And here you can also see what they look like in winter colors, because I'm a big fan of saying just because the pattern shows it in one color set doesn't mean you can't personalize it for yourself. So we had little fall owls and we shifted them over, and look how chilly they look in that winterscape. I just love that.
So
Now, what
cute.
really, thank you. What really launched our company was Branch Diversity, which is our 7 owls on a branch. They are a great little family. And I'll point out that when we got started with them, I really didn't think of this until I had a sweet little girl in my booth one day. And she said, "Hey, look, Mom, it is the 7 dwarves of the owl world." And all of a sudden, she's pointing out that there's a sleepy and a dopey and a bashful and a doc. And I was just like, that is the cutest thing. So that's how
Yeah,
we
that's
build them
really sweet.
sometimes.
And look at those eyes. I tell you, you can't go wrong with Swan's owls. They are just so stinking cute.
Oh, thank you. I really have had a great time with them. I don't normally make quilts more than one time, but I think I've made all of my owl quilts multiple times now. They're just that much fun.
Very sweet.
We also have some great smaller projects, and I love to be able to give people simpler, easier things to do that they can approach in a weekend. So Brilliant Leaves is one of those projects. And with this one, you're really just making these 4-leaf blocks. Great to make scrappy. I did these in just things out of my scrap drawers, but they're also fabulous to use like a very geometric line of fabric or something that just really excites you. And they don't have to be a pillow. String them together as 4 long blocks all together in a long row, and you end up with a gorgeous table runner too. So lots of ways to think about Brilliant Leaves. And I'm going to focus on this one for a second because one of the things that happened to me during the pandemic is that my ability to applique was really radically altered. I had a frozen shoulder on both sides for the longest time, and it meant no applique for Swan, but I couldn't possibly have given up quilting during that period of time. So I moved to more innovatively pieced designs. And Detours has become one of our most popular little classes that we do. It's great to run as a program. It's great to do with your friends. And because it's only like 5 fabrics, it's just so easy to put together. So we took this concept basic rail fence design, and as you can see, we went all different directions with it. So I hope you enjoy detours, a little something different from the studio.
I love the use of the arrows and the flow. It's just really nice to see detours as opposed to the owls and the creativity that you have behind your patterns. So let me talk real quick to our customers here, and I'm going to talk about pricing. So on Branch Buddies, the retail for that um, quilt pattern is normally $10, but as I stated before, we have our fabulous So Fun Club pricing, and that price is only going to be $8.29 for you here today. And Branch Diversity, that pattern retails for $20, but you can get it here at Moore's for only $16.59. We have Brilliant Leaves, which was that wonderful pillow that Swan had. And keep in mind, you don't have to do it as a pillow. You can do a table runner. You can even make it as a quilt. I love things that you can use multiple different ways. That pattern is normally $10, but our So Fun Club price is only $8.29. And the last one that Swan had showed us was Detours. And I know that's one of your newest ones. And it is just so striking. Retail on that is $16, but wait, our So Fun Club price is only $13.19. So, Swan, let's talk about your next grouping of wonderful patterns that you have for us tonight.
Thank you, Michelle. And that is great pricing, by the way. I think your people should be really excited about that.
Oh, I hope so.
Um,
We between you and me and George, we definitely came up with the best pricing that we can offer our customers. So,
So we're going to take a look at a couple of absolutely exciting new things. One of the other new things about Swan Amity Studios is that we took on a paper piecing designer in the last couple years. Her name is Lisa Frixell. She does the most amazing paper piecing work. And we're going to start off this next segment by looking at her El Mariachi Cinco. I think these are the cutest little mariachi cactus you are ever going to find. She also does a great job of giving you these embellishment techniques so that you get strings on your guitar on, you get fabulous puffed out cheeks with a little trapunto on your trumpet player, and of course they are dressed and decked out well with their gorgeous little silk ties on. Super fun and very exciting.
very cute.
You can push your paper piecing to the max on that one. Also, what I love about this one, I'll mention this just real quickly, is Lisa does a good job of putting everything on the back that she's used. And these are all solids from the Hoffman 1895 watercolor line. So they're really easy to get a hold of, which makes it more fun.
And that's a great tip because I can't tell you how often we've had customers come in and they want to duplicate identically the pattern. So offering that is a great service that we have to our customers, your customers as well, so that they can replicate that quilt design exactly. So we definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely. Now, we mentioned that we moved to a lot of innovative piecing over the last couple years, and this is the first quilt that I did that with. This is called Entangled. I really love how this piece worked out. It's fabulous for getting all of your big focal concepts into something. So if you have that focal fabric you've been dying to use, and you want something that's simple but totally different. So I like to point out there's nothing complicated in the piecing for this quilt, even though it looks like there is. 2 blocks make up the entirety of this project. And all of the blocks measure 9 inches finished in size. So this one is a great little throw project, easy to put together, and like just really fun to buy for.
And the final
Let's take a
product
look.
is just gorgeous, Swan. The use of
Oh,
those
thank
blocks
you.
put together, it really does look like something that would be very complicated and take a lot of time. But as you said, it's 2 basic blocks put together. So it's another thing if you're not a beginner, if you want to stretch your wings, try something a little bit different. This would be a perfect pattern for you.
Yes, absolutely. And let's take a look at how much fun this one is, because this one comes with a bonus pattern. You can download this for free from my website, so it doesn't raise the cost of your pattern at all. But because we use some cutaways in making Entangled, you have some leftover half square triangles and pieces that you might want to use up. We don't want to create waste for you. We want to constantly create things that just push the envelope. So this is Entangled's bonus pattern. And just to keep sparking your interest on Entangled, it comes also with the queen incised instructions in the quilt pattern. So make it in that original throw, or consider making it 80 by 80 and getting this gorgeous variation on Entangled.
Oh, I love the color variants too. Very nice.
You just kind of can't go wrong buying for this quilt. A beautiful focal and some attractive go-along fabrics and a background, and that's all you have to worry about. Now, to go smaller, I'll go back to my applique roots here and say that Flax and Blue is just this wonderful small applique project. Again, this is a project that is perfect for that little spot on your wall, large. And what you're doing here is working with a really minimalist color set. So some blues, some greens, some browns, and some creams, or brighten it up and go with 4 really much more exciting or dominant colors. This one, I think, fits all different kinds of variations and leaves you some room that if you're one of those embroidery fans and you want to stick some lovely little words of wisdom or kindness underneath those flowers, you have the room to do so.
It's one of those striking quilts that you will see that has so much potential. It's just really nice, and I love the use of the subdued colors, but as we know, we can switch up those fabrics, and as Swan said, we can really make something bold and bright and make it a baby quilt if need be.
Oh, absolutely. And it would be a cute baby quilt. Speaking of cute baby quilts, let's take a
Ah,
quick peek at Fox About Town. I adore this quilt. It is so fun to make. And in part because it has this option to make it with the 6 foxes. So you can really mix and match your color sets, play around with some of your favorite fabric lines, and get a lot of really fun, spontaneous design in there. This also makes use of a partial seam, and the way we describe it in the pattern makes it very easy and approachable. So if you've never done a partial seam before, this is a great starting point for you.
well, and you've hit a tender spot for me here, Swan, because I am a huge Fox fan, and you know you can't go wrong with foxes in my book. So I love this. I love your use of colors and making it a little bright and bold. But you can definitely switch out those fabrics, use some batiks, and make it more realistic too. Your pattern has so much diversity that way. And I'm a sucker for applique just like you are, Swan.
Well, and what's great about this particular design, I'll just show the single version of it too, is how easy this one is to do either on the machine or by hand. And of course, I am a hand applique fanatic. If I have 2 working shoulders, as I do again now, I will be on the couch with a needle in my hand every evening. But some people just do not love hand applique, and we understand and appreciate you too. This works out so well with the stitches on your home machine. Turn this into a machine applique project and you won't be sorry. It works really well. And let's see, let's just do just one more here.
Yeah, I
Because you
think we
mentioned you
have
love
one of my other.
foxes.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to bring in Fox Love as well.
Well, you hit the nail on the head because Foxglove is so exciting. It's a simpler project to work on. Not quite as much detail as Fox About Town, but also really fun to work on the machine, really simple to do, play around with your backgrounds. I tend to come up with little fabrics that look like my foxes are coming out of a little field. I think that's fun to play with, especially to get those bright cheeks and tufts out of the ears to really pop out the way that they do. And in my case, all of my foxes have green eyes, and that's just because that was my daughter's choice. She picked out all their eye color, but you can have them have all different colored eyes and personalize your piece just a little bit further.
Well, very cool. So Fox Love, once again, is one of those patterns that I absolutely adore. Let us go back and let us talk about some of our pricing here that we have for you all here tonight on our virtual So Fun Club. So I'm going to go all the way back to El Mariachi Cinco. And that, if you remember, was the mariachis that were cactuses, right, Swan? And
That's
the
right.
retail on that is $24. But wait, not for our So Fun Club customers. Our price is only $19.89. And then we had Entangled. Now, Entangled is normally $12 for that pattern, but our special So Fun Club price is only $9.89. And then we go to those foxes, my personal favorite, as well as your owls. Um, our first one was Fox About Town, and the price on that is normally $12, but we have our $9.89 price point for you here tonight. And then Fox Love is normally $10, but for our customers here tonight, we have $8.29 as our price point. So, next grouping, what do you have for us now, Swan?
Okay, well, some of my favorites are coming up. This one has color. This was my first like truly modern quilt, and I still think for the modern fans out there, this is just exciting to make. Get out like all of your rainbow fabrics and have fun with it. What I love about this one too is that as I was at QuiltCon for the first time this year, I felt like I had met my true people in so many ways. And I thought, man, this is a quilt I should take to QuiltCon. Originally, we thought of this one right after there had been the big Fukushima disaster in Japan. And
Mhm.
someone had asked me, what are you going to do with this new color line from Northcott? And yes, these are all solids from Northcott, and they're all still available from their solids collection. And I said, you know what? I really want to do something that is floral but modern and kind of says something about hazmat symbols. So if you're wondering why this quilt is called Haz with a Z color, that is why.
That's funny. I didn't even realize that. I just viewed it as flowers, and now looking closer, Swan, I definitely see the symbol there. What a wonderful play on image that you have.
Thank you, Michelle. You know, sometimes I can get away with it. Speaking of modern and fun, we're also talking about Hexplosion here. Now, Hexplosion, I think, is a fun story because when hexagons were kind of coming back into play, and I thought, oh, that's really fun. I've always wanted to make a hexagon quilt, and now they're relevant again. That's fantastic. I kind of have this one type of hexagon quilt I don't care for. And so I will out myself here and say that it's grandmother's flower garden. I kind of don't like it. But I had
We all
this
have our
vision one night.
preferences. Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, I know. It's not everybody's quilt, but some people do love it. I'm not trying to offend anyone. But I did have that moment in thinking about grandmother's flower garden. I was like, what if part of grandmother's flower garden broke open and like everything
Yes.
spilled out from inside of it?
Yeah.
So this is my version of grandmother's flower garden exploding and having a little just hexagon tornado come out of it.
Wow. Let's look back at that. I want to see it closer because I love your descriptions of it.
Now, and it's so fun to really get a close to this one too and think about how you might want to play with your colors. Because in terms of picking fabric for this, just think about this. Any two colors of fabric and then just different values, lights and darks and mediums, and find the right background for it, and you are ready to go. So two
Yeah.
colors, that's all you need.
Wow. What a great, great quilt.
So I'm going to highlight Lisa Frixell again for a moment. This is her Life's a Beach Corgi. And I love this quilt. It's so engaging. It's so exciting. I mean, I don't know that I have seen such beautifully representative corgis anywhere in any other quilt. And the way she's done it has them standing, has them sitting, has them doing a little sploot. You see their cute little heart-shaped behinds. You have one that is sunbathing there. And these are all of her examples where she has them in the Hawaiian shirts, which I think is probably my favorite example.
Well, I tell you, I have friends that have corgis. I have friends that have multiple corgis. And when I saw this quilt, as you know, I had to have it for our Moors customers. Um, I absolutely love corgis, and I think the representation of their faces and their different outfits here is just super special. And I'm so glad that we have included that in our lineup tonight. Swan, it's just breathtaking.
Well, I really am too. I have to say, this is the quilt that Lisa created that made me say, I need you to design for me because this
Yeah.
is just really awesome. And she likes to point out at this point that Life's a Beach Corgi is also the perfect quilt for you to use that ugly Christmas sweater fabric on and set your corgis up to be ready for Christmas. Or
Yeah.
are you a sports fan? Put them in your favorite team jerseys, and you have the best little sports quilt you can think of. So lots of different ways to think about your corgis.
Yeah, and I tell you, I'm definitely an advocate for buying patterns that you can use multiple different ways. And you've hit it right on the button here. All you have to do is switch out the different outfits on these corgis, and you completely have a different quilt. So if you have a corgi lover or a dog lover in your family, this is a pattern that you're going to be able to use multiple times, and it's going to be completely different each time.
Yes, every time. Dress your corgis and have fun with them. And we're back to owls for one more minute because, you know, I can't ever get away from owls. I just love them. Um, and this is actually my favorite one, the grumpy owl. And my husband often makes the joke that that if I stomp my foot, I look like these owls. Now,
Hard to
these
believe.
are
Hard
the
to
night
believe,
watchmen.
Swan.
Oh, I know, right? I don't look grumpy at all. The night watchmen are my version of police officers in owl form. And that's why I dress them in blue, because they are just your perfect little police officer owls. And here they are, making sure your neighborhood is safe by moonlight. Now, of course, you can dress them up lots of different ways, play with them in different colors, put leaves on your tree if that's your plan. Um, the moon in this particular case is just one of those lovely glowing moons, but you can easily make that some sunshine. You can easily make that a red heart moon. Lots of fun opportunities to play around with our boys in blue here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just switching out your background fabric can have such a dramatic effect on any quilt that you create. So just adorable. And I love, they don't look angry. They look a little pouty to me, but they are just stinking cute.
Well,
So I
thank you,
love that.
Michele.
So
I'm so
let's talk
glad.
about, yeah, let's talk about our price points for this next grouping that we have of Swan's wonderful patterns. The first one that we had was Has Color. And on that one, normal price is $10, but we have it for $8.29. And then we had Hexplosion, that one with the wonderful hexes that were coming down. And that one, once again, is a $10 pattern, but not for our Moors customers. Our special price is only $8.29. And then we have Life's a Beach. Love them corgis. And on the corgis, it is a $36 pattern, but our Moors customers are going to get a very special price of $29.79 for that wonderful pattern. And then we have Night Watchmen, once again, the owls. And on that pattern, it's normally a $12 pattern, but we have it for $9.89. And that's the next grouping. And we've got more to come still. So, Swan, take us down our next patterns.
Oh my goodness, so many more fun ones to look at. Now, this is a dimensional project, and it's hard to get this to show up on camera no matter how I photograph it, but this is called popped color. And popped color is really something that's totally innovative, really different. One of the first ones I thought of that just kind of was like, oh, well, that's super exciting. I have written the pattern with a new update. So now the pattern allows you to have the opportunity to make the original big one with 90 flowers, or to make some of the different table topper examples you see in this image, or you can make the pillow version. So you don't necessarily have to make quite as big.
Yeah, I love the pillow version. Now, I have been drawn to this because I, like you, love color. And I love repetition of a simple design that is used repetitively to get a different look. And this pattern has all of that, Swan. And I love that we have it now in a pillow form as well as a tabletop and a full-size quilt. So tell us more.
What I love about this one is all the versatility. It gives you the option to really play around with a lot of different values in your background. And I'll tell you a little tip about this one for the people out there who are saying, oh my God, that looks like a ton of work. You make the whole background and quilt the quilt before you put the flowers on, which allows you to do everything on the machine. You never have to put any handwork into this besides turning the petals right side out. And here's my other secret. My husband does that part. So I've never turned a flower petal right side out. Now, what's great about this one also is it's a scrap buster. If you're one of those people that ends up with a few scraps hanging around in your studio from time to time, this is the great time to get them out and just have a whole lot of fun putting colors together and playing with how they look on that background surface. And you can see with one of those table toppers, you don't have to go green. You can go in blacks and whites and geometrics and grays. I had a great student do this all in tans and creams, and I got to tell you, that one was gorgeous too. So there's no wrong way to really go about this project.
It's so stunning. It just really checks many boxes in my world. So I love it.
Yay. Well, last little thing I'll mention about this one is it's finished with buttons. So if you have a button foot attachment on your machine, this is the perfect time to use it. And if you're making this for a baby, swap those buttons out with a yo-yo and don't worry about the button concern. So I've had a lot of people say it's a great place to take the place of like a taggy blanket and instead do something really flexible for children. But of course, we don't want anything swallowable. So swap those out for yo-yos and you can make this for any baby in your life.
Yeah, you could even use one of the decorative stitches on your machine if you didn't want to make a yo-yo and just have that tacking down in the center. So lots of options. And it's just, once again, look at that in full screen. It is just gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm still in love with this one. It hangs in my living room. Now, for those of you who are interested in that someday Baltimore album that you keep saying, I just need a few more skills to do that one, this project is for you. This is called Poppy Tango. And yes, it is dedicated to that once upon a time super bloom in the hills of Southern California. Oh, yes. So beautiful. How could you not make a poppy quilt after that?
Yep. So pretty.
Yes. So this one is a lovely start to making skinny stems, to learning how to layer and entangle those stems, and to start putting together those layers and the subtle changes in value in your flowers. So if Baltimore albums are in your future, Poppy Tango is a great way to start, and it will jump you right into the skill sets you need for that.
Very nice. I love it.
Thank you. These are also Hoffman Valley Batik water hand colors, or I'm sorry, watercolors. And so they're also available and easy to get a hold of. Now, this one is a new favorite. So we're jumping into some new things that came out just this year. This is Resonance. Resonance is a great beginner-friendly pattern. It is written for that person that has just started quilting and really wants to make sure that they have everything right as they go. We have a step-by-step check all the way through this pattern. This one is done in conjunction with my friend Tammy Silvers from Tamarini's. She is a great designer in Georgia, and we are just starting to do some work together this year. So get started with something very approachable, simple half square triangles, easy cutting, and more than one way to make this quilt. Whoops, that one's a little small. But you can make it big like this one, square,
Mhm.
or you can go ahead and make it as just a rectangle. You leave off 2 of the borders. Or if you're making
Uh-huh.
it baby size, you leave off all of the borders and you just end up with this gorgeous center design.
Well, and I love that design because you know what I see? I see gemstones. I see cut gemstones. And I think if you were to do different colors, oh my goodness, what a striking quilt that would be. It is just gorgeous and so many options, based on the fabrics that you choose.
Absolutely. So we call this resonance, and we agree with you. We think it does have a lot of gemstone characteristics. For those of you who are geeky little fans out there who know that I occasionally do something with mathematics, yes, this is one of those cases. This is an opportunity for me to play around with some mathematics. So if that excites you, have fun with this one. I know that you will enjoy it. And let's take a peek at just one more project before we go back to Michele.
Sure.
This is called Rogue Cabins. And I love Rogue Cabins because when we talked about Entangled earlier, if you're thinking about those 2-block projects, this is another one of those 2-block projects in which we're going back to that traditional log cabin and we're playing around with how many things can you do with a traditional log cabin. In this case, we've kind of placed it inside what looks like a snowball. I call them snow globes when you put something inside of them. And then we're adding that secondary block. So you get kind of those lacing images through it. When we go back to the split screen camera, you may notice that there's another version of Rogue Cabins hanging behind me that's just a little brighter and showcases fabric differently. What's great about this one is just like Entangled, it comes with its own bonus pattern. So if you're looking for those free bonus pattern downloads, that's another one that does that. And I think it's just really a great plan to use those extra cutaways. So anytime that you're looking at one of my patterns that's the newer piecing concepts, and you're saying, oh man, I am cutting a lot of fabric away from this, check the website. I guarantee you there is a bonus pattern to go with it because we don't want you to not have something to do with those leftovers.
And what a smart thing to do with our leftovers is to create something else with them. You really thought of that, and it's a easy flow to have that bonus because you're already going to have them. Just go ahead and whip something else up together, and I love that. So let's talk about the pricing here on this neck grouping of quilts. The first one was popped color, and that pattern is a $10 pattern, but we have it only for $8.29. And if you remember, that is just so striking. And then the next three we have, which are some of Swan's new ones. We had Poppy Tango, Resonance, and also Rogue Cabins. And those are all $12 patterns. But here at Moore's, we'll have a better price. And you can get those all for $9.89. So those three patterns, which are her newer ones, you're going to get at a special price as well. Now, I know we have one more set, I believe, that we can talk about with Swan. So let's dive right in and see what Swan has for us next.
Okay, let's take a peek at our last little set here. And here is one near and dear to my heart. I just love this one. It's called Sonora Glow. This is a great little introduction to landscape work. So if landscapes are on your radar, but you've looked at them and said, oh my goodness, there's so much detail and I'm not quite sure how to make that work yet, this is landscape simplified. Not a whole lot of pieces. Everything's a little bigger, no tiny little things to get lost in your project. And I think just works so well, especially with some of those Robert Kaufman hand paint patina fabrics, which is what you see a lot of in the sky. So things that are already
Yeah.
created with a lot of variation for you.
And it's just gorgeous, as you know, living in the desert, and seeing those fiery sunsets. You can replicate that now and have it on your wall forever. So just gorgeous. I love the use of colors and fabrics on this one.
Thank you. I do too. Now we're back to a little small project because I love having a couple of things you can do in a week or less. Not everyone wants to just kick off a month-long project or a 6-month-long project. So Summer Gems is one of my favorite little smaller pillow projects. And of course, just like working with something like Brilliant Leaves, you know you can chain those out and turn them into a table runner. You know you can make a lot of those blocks and turn them into a quilt, sash them out, and then you don't have to make quite as many, but you can get a little space in between. However, as you see with what I've done here, this one has like kind of a little visual bonus of putting all of your blocks together in such a way that you create that little magical circle in the center. Doesn't
Yes,
really
isn't that cute?
exist. I
It's
think it's
just a
so
visual
exciting.
tweak. Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yes. Now, that was something too I didn't notice when I originally designed it. Sometimes it takes somebody else looking at your work. And this is one of those moments in which I will mention share your pieces with your friends. This is that opportunity for your friend to say, oh, look at that gorgeous thing you made. You know, take those accolades where you can get them.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We all need to boost each other up. And I love
We're going
this
to go back
one.
to
I'm just
owls.
gonna I'm just gonna go right back to owls, stinking cute, and I'm gonna let you talk about this.
Now, this is our last one for today. I think it is one of my absolute favorites, and I have to say, I still really enjoy that my husband wears one of these at quilt shows every once in a while. They're not just for the ladies.
No,
um,
absolutely not.
Now, these are my little cupcake owls, and you can see that either they are doing the cooking or maybe they are getting cooked. It's hard to tell. You can call this icing, you can call this sherbet, whatever makes you happy. And as you can see, it's kind of melting off the side of the little cones. I'm also a fan of double-sided aprons. So with this pattern, you are getting a reversible apron, which means you can turn it around to the back side where it's blank, do all of your cooking, and swap it around. You have your cute little owl facing out and be ready for your guests at the party. Cute little egg pocket in the front adds a final little touch, either for you to warm up your eggs or for you to keep your favorite little items, like maybe your egg timer.
There you go. Or stick a little spatula in that pocket, make it, you know, look like you've been slaving away. Well, they are really
Right.
cute. Yeah, I love them, and I love the fact that you said that they're reversible. So, you wanna wear something to impress your guests when they come over, but switch it over to the other side, so if you do get any muck upon it, it's gonna be on the inside, and you can look fabulous with your owl apron. Um, Who's Cooking is the name of this one when they show up. So, what a great idea. I just
Yes.
love it. So let's talk about the pricing on this last set that we have. The first one was Sonora Glow, and that was that wonderful desert sunset. And on that pattern, it's normally $12, but we have it for $9.89 for all of you out there in our virtual So Fun Club. And then we had Summer Gems and we had Who's Cooking. And both of those patterns will retail for $10, but not for our customers. You can get them for $8.29. And I just want to take a moment and thank you so much, Swan, for taking time with us and all of our customers for our virtual So Fun Club to explain the little ins and outs, to show us your brand new line of products that they haven't seen before, as well as some of our favorites that we've had from you for years past. It's been wonderful, and I want to thank you once again for joining us for our August So Fun Club virtually.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure. I enjoyed coming back again, Michele.
Well, until next time, we wish you well. Happy stitching out there, and we will see you another time. Thank you,
Happy
Swan.
stitching.
Bye bye. So, in order to check out what dates we have, you can always visit us on our Moores website. And to reach that, you're going to go to moores-so.com and you can access all of our 5 locations, individual stores, so you can see when So Fun Club is at each location. So, to kick off show and tell for this month's August virtual So Fun Club, I brought a quilt that I'd love to share with you. Now, it's the quilt that's hanging out right here. Let me hold it up so you can kind of see. And on this quilt, I basically, once again, used up some of my scraps. You will see that I did wonky diamonds in the center. So basically, what I did was I took just brown fabrics for the sides, and then I used some of my scrap fabrics here and just added the corners and then added them together. It was super easy. It was super fun. And I love to use up my scrap fabrics to make a wonderful quilt. So let me hold it up one more time. And once again, I call this my wonky diamond quilt. And hopefully that will inspire you to use up some of your scraps and make a fabulous quilt that you can share or give away. Let me see now what you guys have to share. So that's all the time we have for this month's virtual So Fun Club. I look forward to seeing you next month in September for our virtual So Fun Club, where we will have another trunk show and other prizes and other fabulous information for you. I hope you have a wonderful month, and we look forward to seeing you here at Virtual So Fun Club next month. Have a safe sewing month.